So we're out here doing a new velocity test on a different powder. I'm going to shoot Vihtavuori N555, and I've got an idea of what the charge weight's going to be. So I've got 56.8 up to 58 grains loaded in 2/10 increments, but I'm going to be testing two different primers. Federal gold medal match, I think it's the 210M, and then the CCI number 34s. So we're going to be shooting at 300 yards. Main thing we're going to look at is the velocities, but then we'll also look at the groups a little bit. If we have two ESs and SDs that are similar, then we'll look at the group size and maybe use that for a tiebreaker. Okay, so here's the results from the velocity test I did. I shot N555 in 2/10 of a grain increments from 56.8 up to 58 grains. And I ran that test twice using two different primers, one with the gold medal match and the other with the CCI number 34s. When you start looking at the when you start looking at the numbers, the ESs down the line, they were all pretty decent. We did have a couple double-digit extreme spreads on. Let me shut that off. On the first weight, the 56.8, and then the 57.6. And then down here with the CCIs, the first one again 58 points or 56.8, and then the very last one was an ES of 10. But other than that, the ESs were single digit the rest of the way through. I didn't check all of the SDs, but what I did look at was, so on the CCI primer, the 57.2 up to 57.6. So across almost a half a grain of powder, there was an extreme spread of 15, 28.55 up to 28.70. Again, that's across almost a half a grain of powder. And I did check the SD on that. The SD for those three charges was a total of, I believe it was an SD of 5 point something. So I'll probably end up shooting either 57.4 or 57.5. And the only reason I say maybe 57.5 is just because on the 0.2, we're down in the 28.55 range. And then one of them jumped up to 28.63. But for 57.4 and 57.6, they were all right there, almost the exact same speed. So 28.63, 28.70, 28.69, and then 28.67, 28.70 again, and 28.67 again. So I'm thinking I will run the 57.5, and then I'll do a seating depth test, hopefully here in the next couple days. Now, when I shot all this at 300 yards, and I do shoot at targets. There are some guys that shoot only when they're doing a velocity test. They will just shoot into a berm or into a hillside, and they don't even pay attention to the group sizes. And I understand the theory in that you don't want that to influence your decision making. And for the most part, I don't care, but I am kind of curious to see how the gun's performing as I'm shooting, as I'm testing stuff. And then, especially since I was comparing two different primers, if I end up having, a group maybe in here and then a group in here that shot really, really well with similar numbers, then I might consider looking at the target for a tiebreaker just to see which one I wanted to shoot. Excuse me. So in saying all of that, here are the targets that I shot. Again, this is at 300 yards. And this was, I actually wrote on the target upside down once I pulled them down. But these were the federal primers, the 210Ms. And if you look at all of these groups compared to the same charge weights with the CCI primers, at least in this instance, all the CCI stuff seemed to be just a little bit smaller than the federal stuff. Not quite as tall. So again, I'm not too concerned about the groups at 300 yards on this velocity test, but again, I would just use that to maybe to help me decide if I was trying to pick between a load up here with the Federals and a load down here with the CCIs. I might use that group size just to help me make a decision, see where that gun was kind of trending. So that's how it all looks for now. Like I said, I'll try and get out here in the next few days and get a seating depth test in. Take care. We'll talk to you soon.